Welcome to the fifth lesson, where we will be checking on the public procurement in Kenya. In this lesson, we'll be looking at the bodies that regulate the public procurement in Kenya. We have three bodies which regulate the public procurement in Kenya, and that is the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, we have the National Treasury, and we have the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board. In this video, we will be looking at the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Before we look at the roles of the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, we need to know that Ppra is a body corporate, and this body has the power to sue, and also it can be sued. Remember also that the management of the authority also shall vest in a board to be known as the Public Procurement Regulatory Board. And remember, this board also has its own function. The board will also will consist of the chairperson, who will be nominated by the cabinet secretary and appointed by the president. And also we have 4 members who shall be appointed by the cabinet secretary after nomination through a fair process. And these 4 members will be coming from the bodies like the Law Society of Kenya. We have the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. We have the Kenya Institute of Supplies Management. Also, we have the Association of Professional Societies in East Africa, provided that the appointed nominee is not a member of the professional body above. Also, we'll have 2 other persons nominated by the respective organizations representing the youth and persons with disability. And also have the cabinet secretary or his or her representative, and also the attorney general and his or her representative. So the CS, or the cabinet secretary, will also appoint the director general of the authority as advised by the board. And remember, the director general of the authority will have a term of office over about 3 years, but the person will be able to renew this appointment for another 3 years. The director general also has his or her own functions. So those are some of the things that are very important that you actually need to know before we actually look at the roles of this particular corporate body. I'm your tutor, Julius Joseph. So, Public Procurement Regulatory Authority has various roles as indicated in the Kenyan Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, and this is well depicted in that particular act. So at your free time, you need to actually get a copy of this particular act. The functions of this body has been stated in the section 9 subsection 1, where you have the functions of this particular authority. So the first function here, or the first role, is they monitor. Remember, that is very important. They monitor, assess and review the public procurement and asset disposal systems to ensure that they respect the national values and other provisions of the Constitution, including the Article 227, and make recommendations for improvement. So we have what's called the key national values. The key national values, which are they? The key national values are as follows. We have patriotism, rule of law, inclusivity, democracy and participation of people, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, social justice, equality, human rights, human dignity, equity, non-discrimination, and protection of marginalized groups. Those are what we term as the key national values. The second role here is to monitor. To monitor. Remember, the main thing here is you need to know the main areas. Like now here, talking about to monitor the public procurement systems, and also do report on the overall function of it and present to the cabinet secretary and also the county executive member for finance in each county. Such other reports and recommendation for improvement. They also tend to enforce any standards developed under the act. They also monitor classified procurement information, including that of specified items of security organs, and make recommendations to the cabinet secretary. They also monitor the implementation of preference and reservation schemes by procuring entities. Remember, procuring entities, these are mostly, in most cases, they are public institutions, public entities. They also prepare, issue, and publicize standard public procurement and asset disposal documents and formats to be used by entities and other stakeholders. Remember, in procurement, documentation becomes very significant. So all the formats always come from the authority. They also provide advice and also technical support upon request. Moving on, they also investigate and act on complaints received on procurement and asset disposal proceedings from procuring entities, tenders, contractors, or the general public that are not subject for administrative review. Remember, the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board has the main role or the major role of handling this kind of complaints, but there are others which the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority can chip in to help in. They also do research. They also do research on the public procurement asset disposal systems and any developments arising from the same. They also tend to advise. They also advise the cabinet secretary on the setting of standards, including international public procurement and asset disposal standards. They also tend to develop, if you can check here, they develop and also manage the state portal on procurement and asset disposal and ensure that it is available and easily accessible. Moving on, I said this body, most of the work is to monitor. They also monitor and evaluate the preference and reservations provided for under the Act and provide quarterly public reports. They also create a central repository of database, and this database will be for information based on what? Complaints made. We're talking about the complaints. The complaints made on procuring entities can be on records of those prohibited, those prohibited from participating in the tenders, or those who have been debarred. They are not allowed to participate in any kind of public procurement procedures. They also have those information based on the market prices. You have the benchmarked prices, and also state organs and public entities that are compliant with the procurement laws and others. So they also do inform, as applicable, the cabinet secretary, also the parliament, and also other relevant county executive member of finance, the relevant county assembly or auditor general on issues of non-compliance with procurement laws. They also do report to Parliament on and the relevant county assembly. They develop code of ethics. think in our next lessons we'll be able to see these are called standards in procurement. So actually remember to subscribe, because these will be done in the coming weeks. They also undertake its function, cooperate with state and non-state actors with a view of obtaining recommendations on how public procurement and disposal can be improved. So ensure the procurement entities implement the preference and reservation. I think we said the people who form these policies on preference and reservation is the National Treasury. They also perform such other functions and duties as provided for under the Act and even other relevant laws. So kindly remember to subscribe, share these lessons widely so that we educate the society. We meet in our next lesson. I'm your tutor, Julius Joseph. Bye.